Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Embrace the Journey. My name is Brandon, and as you know, Halloween is right around the corner. It is spooky season. I gotta say, it's my favorite time of year. So I did get you a guest who knows a little bit about Halloween. And when I mean a little bit, I mean a lot. He knows a lot about Halloween. So let me introduce him real fast. My guest today is a 15-year veteran scare actor at Queen Mary's Dark Harbor in Long Beach. He goes by the name Squeaks during haunt season, and if you hear a whistle, that's most likely him. Overall, he's a great guy. He's been around Queen Mary for some time, and I want to know more about Queen Mary and the boat and all the mysteries behind it because we all see it. We see the haunting, all this kind of stuff. So let's get more into it. Welcome my guest, Rowley.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Thank you so much for coming down.
No worries.
To be on the podcast.
Dude, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. We were chatting it up a little bit about Star Wars because I did see on your profile you're like a Star Wars nerd.
Oh, I'm a beyond a Star Wars nerd.
I know, because when we were talking, you started mentioning characters I've never even heard of. So I was like, I've seen all the movies, everything, and I was just like, I've never heard of these things. But so a little bit, kind of to give them an update. It's so crazy how we met. So this is the first time. So I mean, yeah, I've seen you at Haunt and stuff, but this is the first time we're actually meeting in a sense face to face.
You're actually meeting Rowley. You're
Yes.
not meeting Squeaks.
Exactly, because the only time I don't know if you remember, but I think it was the first year when I went and I saw like your stuff and I thought that was dope. I was barely.
What costume was I in?
What costume you were in? Like your white and
The white and black outfit?
Yeah, that you were in that outfit, and then your makeup was pretty dope too. It was like
it the half face?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was a half face.
All right.
But I know you changed it up a lot of different variations of it too. So I met you that year, I just said what's up, and then I think I messaged you on Instagram because I was starting getting I was ready in Haunt, and I wanted to know what kind of gear you were using. Like, and then you kind of told me, oh, this is what I do. And I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, that was our intro to meeting. That's it. And then I reached out to him, said, hey, I think it'd be awesome for him to be on the podcast. And voila,
Boom.
here he is. How you been? How you been through this whole mess of a year?
Oh my God, this year's been insane.
Yeah.
From my health issues, from having a heart attack and being told like, when I had the heart attack, I was like hours away from dying. It was like,
That is insane.
dude, it was insane. Then a month later, my son's born, and
Congratulations.
thank you, Grayson. I love the little guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, finding out about that heart attack, like,
So
totally threw me out.
exactly what happened? How did it happen? Like what?
I remember the whole week.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you, like, from Monday all the way until Saturday. Monday, Tuesday, everything was fine. Like, I'm talking to you normally. Wednesday is when I stopped eating. And then Thursday, I was drinking, like, the 5-gallon bottles of water. Like, it's going out of style.
So real quick, Wednesday when you stopped eating, why did you stop eating?
I just felt full.
You felt full already?
Yeah, you know, like, when you go to bed full,
Yeah.
you wake up, you're like, I'm still full from the night before.
Yeah.
Well, I was like that through the entire day.
Yeah.
And Wednesday was like that. Thursday I was drinking water. Friday is when I started throwing up. And what really was bad about this, and it's so horrible, it was Father's Day weekend. I'm in the hospital, and my girlfriend's birthday was Friday. So the next day we go out, and I barely had one glass of water, made it to the restroom, puked my brains out, went home, started puking. Friends came by to check up on me. I'm sweating and I'm hot to them. My lips are blue. I am pale. I am cold to the touch. And hearing that and telling the doctors, and they were like, yeah, you were probably like 2-3 hours away from dying.
So through that whole time, you were having a heart attack.
Yeah. Had no idea.
So you had no pain other than just
like
throwing
on
up?
Saturday is when I started throwing up more, and that's when I felt my chest getting really tight. And I've never felt like this ice cold pain that started at your shoulder and it just kept creeping down. And it's just like it made it to my elbow. And that's when I was like, okay, something's not right here. And that's when my friends were like, all right, we're rushing you to the ER.
So now when they checked you and everything. Now, was that the only complication? Was it just the heart attack?
Well, coming to find out, I didn't know that I was diabetic, and it just happened out of nowhere. And coming
Really?
to find out from other doctors, it was like, yeah, you could get it while you're younger or just randomly as an adult.
Yeah.
And it happened randomly as an adult to me. And I remember they were saying my blood sugars were like 400 to 600.
Well, so anytime people say numbers, what are numbers supposed to be though?
Like your average number for me, my blood sugar needs to be under 100.
Fuck. So 400.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
And then it's just it. Thank God for everyone that helped me at the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm a big shout out to Long Beach Memorial right there.
Yeah.
Big shout out to all the nurses and the doctors.
So happy you're okay, by the way.
Dude,
That's such a
dude. It's a life-changing experience
for sure. So you got rushed to the hospital. They were able to kind of take care of it. How did they relieve it?
Pretty much, I have a stent put in my heart. I had 2 clogged arteries. The
Got
ones
it.
that they were saying, your main artery is in the front of your heart.
Yeah.
That one shut down. That one closed up.
Wow.
And then I had another one under the heart that was closed. So when they say that, they kept referring it to the Widowmaker. And if anyone that knows anything about heart attacks or in the emergency field, you hear Widowmaker heart attack, yeah, you're not coming back from that.
Wow.
So
that's a miracle.
dude,
100%.
It's insane.
I had a buddy of mine. He was a scare actor as well, who had 2 open heart surgeries. Because he had a valve that wasn't functioning right, so like it wasn't like opening and closing right. So I think they had to put like a metal one or something in there. But yeah, 2 of them.
Wow.
So yeah, he knows a little bit about that. I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll watch this episode. But yeah, thank God he's okay. But
it's scary.
Yeah. So you came out of that and then found out you were diabetic.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming immediately from there, your life kind of changed in that regard as well.
It went. My girlfriend and her mom bought a whole bunch of like diabetic cooking books.
Yeah.
Like our entire fridge was cleaned out, and my entire eating regimen's been changed. Like I feel like an old man because I wake up in the morning and do my morning walks. So it's like I put on my walking shorts, my compression socks, and be like, okay, I'm good to go. Then go walk for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And come back.
Like I said, I'm so happy you're okay, but I see how happy you are with your son on Instagram. And I'm like, dude, this is, and I've seen the posts leading up to it of just you being so happy for him to be here. So I'm like, it's so good that you were able to surpass this like crazy life-threatening event to be able to watch your son grow up. Because
that was the one thing in the hospital I kept asking for. It was like, I need to be here for my son. I need to be here for my son. And it's just like being released and starting this whole marathon, because it's not a short race. It's like I'm running this marathon until my body's be like, okay, we don't need the medication anymore. But who knows when that'll happen, or if I'll be taking it until I'm pushing up daisies. But in the meantime, I'm here. I'm alive.
Love it.
I'm still happy that I get to see my son every morning, especially at 2:30 in the morning.
So 2:30. So you told me that's when you woke up today.
I've been up since like 2:30 this morning.
So what time did you go to bed?
So I normally, when we put our son down, he goes to bed like around 8 to 8:30.
Okay.
So like around that time, like 9:30, make sure you go to sleep. Because if not, you go to sleep around 10. It's like, all right, I'm going by normal time. Then 2 hours later, you're up.
Yeah.
So I'm knocked out by like 9:30, waking up by like 2, and off and on until like 6 o'clock in the morning. And that's when he's like, all right, I'm awake.
He's like, I'm up. I don't know if you guys slept. I slept well.
I know. I felt great. I shit my pants.
Exactly.
You got to clean me now.
Yeah. That's hilarious. But yeah, that's so awesome. Such a crazy event to happen. But like I said, I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you.
So outside of that, have you been also working during this whole pandemic?
Unfortunately, no, because of the industry that I'm in is the event industry. Let's see, my last day of work was March 11th. And then 2 days later on the 13th, I got furloughed. But at the same time, that's when all major sports and outdoors events said we're done for the season. We're not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the company I work for, Code 4 Media Group, we're contracted to the LA Chargers.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
like when football season was done, we lost our industry. And if anyone's familiar with the Huntington Beach Air Show, we're the company that puts on that big event down at Huntington Beach.
Mm-hmm.
That got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's not much for us to do. And quite frankly, it's like I want to spend time with my son instead of trying to like figure out what I'm going to do. I'll collect the unemployment and stay home and be a stay-at-home dad for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah, same with me because I work at Olive Garden. I'm a server at Olive Garden in Santa Anita. And
I'm gonna need that address.
You like Olive Garden?
Oh yeah, we'll bring the family.
Sounds good. Yeah. But no, yeah. So I've been there, but we're like one of the only restaurants I know of who doesn't have outdoor seating.
Really?
Yeah. So like we are literally just takeout. BJ's right next to us has outdoor seating. They made it happen. All these other restaurants have made it happen. I don't know what's up with them. But yeah. So
in Long Beach, if you don't have an outdoor seating, your restaurant's not going to be open. Like I've seen so many places. Like
that's so smart to have though.
Oh, it is, and it's like I'll see so many places. Like one of the major spots by me is 2nd Street, and on 2nd Street they have so many restaurants. If you guys been down there, it's a really cool place to go during the day, especially if you got family during the summer. Go hang out there, get some food, then you go down to the water. That's what you do. But like my girlfriend's favorite pizza place, Pizza Press, awesome, gone.
Wow.
So many places around there are closed.
So now they're shut down, but they haven't gone out of business.
No,
correct?
They're out of business.
They're out of business.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just like there's a couple other restaurants that do the outside patio seating on the street, like the street parking areas.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with that, but I've seen so many places like drunk drivers running into them in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's 50-50. If you got an outdoor seating, cool. Like the only restaurant that I've been to so far through this pandemic is one of the restaurants at Downtown Disney before it got too crazy.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
I haven't gone anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like you go to my DoorDash account, you just like, okay, babe, what are we doing tonight?
Yeah.
We're already in this place.
That's funny. My frequent place I go to, it's me and my dad. We go a lot. We go a lot to Yard House.
Okay.
Because they have outdoor seating, everything. So we just go hang out, drink, have some appetizers, and just hang out. But
you do get the yard beer? I know you do.
I don't. You want to know why? I'm not a beer drinker.
Why?
I'm not. I'm a cocktail drinker. I
can respect that.
Cocktail. So my go-to cocktail is an old fashioned. 9 times out of 10, it's an old fashioned. And then if I'm not doing that, maybe I'm doing wine. And as you can, that's covering it. But if you could slightly see, there's a whole bunch of wine back there. Whole bunch of wine. Those are finished bottles. Those are my favorite bottles.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a big wine drinker and then cocktail, but not a beer. I try to get into beer. I keep trying different ones, and I'm like, they're just so bitter. You have to develop a taste for it.
Not even develop a taste. You just gotta know what kind of beer that you like. It's the same thing when for wine drinkers. Like, do you like a heavier, bitter wine, or do you like a fruitier wine?
So I'm more of I drink either a Cabernet or a Pinot Noir. So Cabernet is like a solid, just like kind of wine, and then your Pinot is kind of more of like a smoother kind of. And then there's difference of like bodies of if it's like a medium body, like all that kind of stuff. So
same thing with beer.
Same thing? Okay. Maybe I'm just getting all the wrong side of where I should be drinking beer. I don't know, but
I've gone to so many beer festivals and beer competitions. It was like there was one event that I was doing at the Ship, and it was Bacon Fest. And I was only there for the install. So I was there installing it, and then they were like, "Do you want to stay? We have an extra ticket for you and one other person." So I called my roommate up. So he comes over, he gets in, and literally the bacon went out, and it's bacon and beer. So your beer tokens that you had, you would get like a pamphlet of 10 tickets. Dude, I didn't even use the tickets. People were just walking around handing you fucking beer. Like, I'm off the clock. I still have my work uniform on. It looks like I'm part of here. I was like, no, I'm just participating. My roommate and I are getting sloshed. Like, by the time we left there, it's like, if you're going by the ticket books, we probably went through like 5 ticket books.
Wow.
And I just remember, I was like, that honestly, from that event, actually, I found my beer of choice.
Okay, I would think so. I would think so a little bit.
And it's like they sell it not that far from my house. So I was like, okay, I'll walk in there, spend like $30, come out with 2 6-packs of beer. And it's just like, yeah, it's a little bit pricey, but it's worth the taste.
So what is your choice?
Einstock Winter Ale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, you're naming Star Wars characters I don't know. No, I was just kidding.
Yeah, it's that Einstock from a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, exactly.
The Viking lords.
So you, let's talk about it a little bit. So you have been a scare actor at Queen Mary for about 15 years. This year would have been your 16th year.
Yeah.
Right. So before we get into all that detail, what are your plans this year? Does it feel different that you're like, man, I don't have to do haunt this year?
Okay, I got it. This actually happened to me last season, because last season is when our opening weekend at Dark Harbor was at the same time I was doing the air show at Huntington Beach. So I was at Huntington Beach from 6 a.m. until like 2, come home, shower, change for like 20 minutes, and then rush over to the Queen Mary.
Wow. That's the schedule.
Oh, that was the schedule, and it got like, I think I'd made it to like 4 nights, and that's when I told the producer, I'm like, David, I hate to say this, but out of my 15-year run, I need a night off. And he was like, go ahead, take it. You deserve it. So having one night off and not going to work, not going to the ship, it felt so weird. Like, I'm at home with my girl and I'm like, I need to be in costume and makeup right now. Like, we're about to open gates in 20 minutes. What the fuck am I still doing here? Yeah. Oh God, there's like, now this season, since the season's already started, it feels so blah. Like, to be honest with you, like, I've looked at all the other haunts and none of them like caught my interest. Or was like, or even want to go to it. And I love Halloween and I love scaring, but I think for what's going on in 2020 right now is just like, I just want to, when you hit your head really hard, you just want to forget something. Yeah. Yeah. This is me at 2020 right now. I just want to forget it. Yeah. The only thing I want to remember is my son being born. I don't want to remember anything else. So I'm kind of happy that I have a season off, that I could just relax and let my body recoup. Yeah. Because doing sliding and scaring for 15 years takes a big toll on your body.
I can see that, especially, by the way, I know you like having people ask you, do you want to say your height to?
Okay, yeah.
You can imagine this. So this guy doesn't look too tall, or maybe he does, but
I'm I'm sitting on the ground right now. I have a pillow under my butt that's holding me up.
He might as well be, but so to do this for 15 years, and then as a slider too, you're constantly dropping to your knees and popping back up, especially being taller. I can imagine that takes a bigger toll on your joints. But go ahead and tell them what your height is.
My legally, I'm 6'8", ladies and gentlemen.
6'8". This, I think you
if you remember this podcast, this is the only time you're going to hear me say I'm 6'8".
Yep, exactly, because he has people guess.
Oh, I have people come back every year asking, like, I did this game last year. You didn't tell me. You guessed wrong, but I need to know. Guess again. Yeah. And I'll walk away and never see him for the rest of the night.
That's hilarious. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you got into scaring in the first place.
Let's talk on real quick.
Let's get right into it. This is what people are going to watch. This is what people are coming for, to see, how does this guy operate. How'd you get into it?
So it all started when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
So 15, going down to the Queen Mary, when it was known as Shipwreck. Yeah.
Okay.
Shipwreck. That's a name right there. Going down there and being so like into it, and then I don't know what it was, but for some odd reason we went to Halloween Horror Nights for my sister's birthday, and like my dad spent so much money on tickets, on dinner and everything, and this 6'8" giant baby starts a mental breakdown like 4 feet from the entrance of the maze, and is just like couldn't go in, and I couldn't do anything. I froze up.
Really? Yeah. By the way, real quick, you were 6'8" at 15?
No.
Okay.
No. I grew into being 6'8".
Okay.
So this was like I was average height, like 6 foot. I don't know if that's average or not.
Average height. Love it.
Average height, 6 feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I remember crying so bad that I couldn't move. I was in such a sheer panic and fear. And
really?
We had to be escorted out of the park by management.
Wow.
And from that, I was not allowed to be anywhere near Halloween, not allowed to do anything for like 2 years because that was my punishment.
Yeah.
I cried at Halloween Horror Nights, and now look at me. I'm one of the scariest monsters at Dark Harbor.
So when you were younger, you didn't at average height, 6 feet, you didn't like it, or
no? It's just it like I don't know what it was. It was just like I was all into it. And it's just like, no, I don't want to go. It's like it's like hitting that fear wall. Like easiest way to describe it is like the same thing that happens when people go skydiving. Is like you're in the plane, you're about to go, the door's right there, it's all
freeze.
and you freeze up, and that's what happened to me.
So how'd you go from screaming and not wanting to go into being like, I'm gonna be a scare actor?
I grew a pair of balls and I decided to do it. No. Honestly, that happened because a couple of friends of mine in high school started working there, and they like, dude, it's so easy to get hired here. It's like, all right. So once I turned 18, I decided to go do that. But let's just say this: Squeaks wasn't like the nicest kid on the block or had the cleanest record on the block.
Okay.
I got in some trouble with the law as soon as I turned 18. Lovely. And then I remember I met my lawyer, and after meeting my lawyer, I went to auditions. Got the part. Then
what was the audition like, by the way?
Oh God, probably one of the few auditions I've ever had to do for a haunt. And it was, just imagine like 2 6-foot white tables.
Okay.
The plastic ones.
Yeah. The average ones.
The average tables. and it was Eric Prevotel, Big B, and a couple other people that were there that were like makeup artists and their production team.
Yeah.
And it was 6 of us at a time, and it was like, you try to scare us, but do not pass this tape. And if you pass the tape, you do not touch the table.
Okay.
So it's just like, and they're like, and don't do your typical rawr, because we've been seeing this for the last 200 people. So do something different. So I did something different. I think I snarled or yelled or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And got the part. Then I did 2 years as a regular maze monster at Shipwreck. And my first maze, I was on the ship, and where that maze is now, which is submerged. Yeah.
Explain that a little bit. What do you mean?
So the ship mazes have been around since like Shipwreck.
Okay.
And it's like all that happens to them. Like there are certain pathways that you could go through. Back in the day, B340 and submerged was one maze.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So you went through the bottom level, then you had to go upstairs. Like you're going through B340 and you go out that way and go down the steps. That stepway was my first scare zone.
Mm.
So all I had was walking back and forth right through there. That's it. And being a young kid trying to figure out like the haunting world, it was like I saw someone with clicker gloves and I was like, how in the hell do you make these?
Yeah.
And I got the Star Wars version of making the gloves.
How'd you do it?
So the Star Wars version is, everyone knows how a Jedi gets their kyber crystals, right? You find your kyber crystals and you have to make the lightsaber yourself. Well, as a young kid back in the day, you had to find all the slider pieces for your gloves yourself and make them yourself. No one told you anything.
Yeah.
So it's like that's how you became a slider Jedi, is like depending on how good were your gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, my gloves were a piece of shit the first couple pairs. Oh yeah, they're horrible.
What would you make them out of?
So I got regular gardening gloves.
Oof.
Yeah,
That's already. I could
dude,
tell you had problems
it
with
was
that.
bad. Look at these mints. Come on. So I had gardening gloves, and I didn't know the finger pieces that we use today are flex 90-degree connectors, electrical conduits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that back then. You know what I use? Plumber's tape. You know the thin metal plumber's tape that you could wrap around and you screw things together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that, and I had a duct tape around my finger. I had those. That was what I was using the click with.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it was bad. Once I failed on my first pair of gloves, I decided to find something else. And what I wanted to use was something that's different from everybody else, but still loud enough that it's still gonna scare you.
Okay.
You know those squeaky rats that you find at like Big Lots or the 99-cent stores?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had 6 of those. I used them throughout the entire seasons that I was there, and I tied it up to my wrist so when I dropped it, it would hang right here. But as soon as I flipped it up, it will land perfectly in my hand.
And then you would squeak it.
And I'll squeak it. Yeah. So that's how it was like. I was known for a while was Squeaker with his rat bastard.
Got it. Okay.
And like I went through 6 rat bastards before I dropped the rat, before I started just hiding random squeaky toys all over me. And it was funny because every time a rat bastard blew out or it was damaged, I couldn't use it anymore, I made a shaker can coffin. And this is how weird it was, but also yet cool back then. On Halloween night or last night, I would do a funeral service for him. Bro, I had 2 full of monsters from different mazes come down to this service to watch me go throw a shaker can in the water.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, it was bad. It was like, I can't believe this got so out there that everyone was like, we have to go. It's Rat Bastard's funeral. We have to go. And after that, Rat Bastard is just a fond memory now.
So how many years did you do that for?
Only the 2 years. The 2 years that I was in the maze. And my first year wasn't a regular maze monster. Then the second year is when I decided to be a maze slider. And that one, I believe it was called Factory of Fear, or one of Shipwreck's longest maze. Dude, it took 20 minutes to get through this maze. Yeah. If you know anything about the ship, you have to go all the way up to the prom deck. And from there, takes you through the isolation ward. So you got to go through 4 decks of crap before you have to get to the X Hall.
Wow.
So you started up on top and you went literally back and forth throughout the ship. And what was really cool for me was I had this nice long ramp, and it had like a little grade on it, but it was a nice like paved metal ramp. And that's where I decided that's my play zone. And what made it really special was we had air conditioning in our maze, but our air conditioning vent was broken, so you just got a tunnel of air shooting straight down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, when it was hot, I was standing right in the middle of the room.
Yeah,
just do this while people are walking by. I was like, "Don't move, don't move. If you don't move, they don't see you. If you don't move, they don't see you." And I'll hit this ramp, and you would go for at least 50 feet before you had to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like all you had to do was take like 2-3 steps, and you just gradually slide all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
And the street sliders heard about this, and they're like, "Yeah, there's this kid in the maze, and he's sliding." And they're like, "Well, we gotta check this out. Who's doing this?" So they all went in, coming in like to see if there was this young punk kid that was like hurting himself or anything. Oh, they saw my ramp. They hit it. They're like, "Nah, he's good." it dipped.
Yeah.
And there have been multiple times throughout the night, like throughout the season, I'll see 1 or 2 of them come in. They're like, "I just want to hit the ramp. That's it." Just come in through the back, hit the ramp a couple times, and go back outside scaring.
Yeah. So you slid a little bit in the maze, which I don't think they have sliders in the maze anymore, right?
Yeah, we do.
I've been through a couple times.
So there's only a few mazes that are permitted to have sliders in it. I'm only going to say like the newer names of the haunt, like Dead Rise. And Dead Rise, because it's an outdoor maze, there are areas that are actually designed to have maze sliders in that scare zone.
Okay.
Intrepid, their first year that we had Intrepid, and that was inside the dome. And the reason why I know this one, because that was one of the mazes I worked on when I was on their production team.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me, "Can you help us design a zone that we could have sliders in so they could use it as a scare opportunity?" So it's like, okay, cool. They're like taking into consideration that they want to utilize more sliders instead of just being outside of the maze. Why not have like 1 or 2 of them inside?
Yeah. So then how'd you transition from being a slider inside the maze to them being like, okay, this guy's going to be outside?
So at that time, they talked to the owners, Brian and Eric Previtel, and I had to do a slider audition in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, okay, Brian is like probably like 6'3", 6'5", and he was like, "All right, slide on my legs and don't clip me." And I was like, "Okay." And I did that. He was like, "All right, now slide at me as fast as you can and stop." "All right, now I'm going to point to you which way you're going to bail out." "Okay, do it." And he was like, "All right, you're good. You're on the streets." And from there, that's when it just like blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, it's like being a street slider for how young I was and just being out there. And it was weird because all the other guys were older,
Mm-hmm.
a lot older, a lot seasoned guys from me. And it's just like, I'm trying to take little bits from these 3, from this guy over here, so I could get my own unique way.
Yeah.
And over time, it's just, that's how you figure out the way you want to slide and move is just being out there outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I answered your question.
Yeah, no, you totally did. Now, this is me assuming, but so when you transitioned from being inside the maze and came outside, when did you adopt the whistle?
Before Dark Harbor, there was Shipwreck.
Yeah.
And Shipwreck was there all when I was there from 2005 to 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And they went under. Then 2009, we had a company called Gridlock.
Mm-hmm.
Gridlock presents Shipwreck, and Gridlock is a company that did celebrity parties, like DMX's Halloween party on the Queen Mary's presented by Gridlock.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so that's how you know who they are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they weren't going to pay anybody. Like they had college students that had never been actors before.
Yeah.
Try to be monsters, and they try to set it up as, oh, this isn't a haunt, we're a party that has people dressed up as monsters.
So that was the premise in the beginning before it became a haunt.
Yeah, no, because the company that did in that 2009 season never put on a hump before. They had no idea
Oh.
what they were doing.
Okay.
They were only known for doing parties.
Yeah.
So that's how they designed the whole thing out.
Got it.
And I think they screwed over the ship by like $22,000 by not paying them.
Yeah.
So when they left, that's when we were introduced to David Wally and his team and the Dark Harborness, and from being Shipwreck sliders to Queen Mary sliders. So, and now from the Queen Mary sliders to the QM sliders. So that's how that name stuck around for all these years.
Yeah. So then when the new person came around, David, that's when it switched to Dark Harbor?
Yes.
Okay. And then how did you get your whistle?
Oh God, that was just me not wanting to blow out my voice every night.
Like that?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
But like, honestly, everything that I do that I use to scare for me is the reason why I did half makeup for like the longest time was like I got tired at the end of the night, like rubbing my face raw, trying to get off all the makeup, and snarling and yelling and being your monster voice all the time does do a toll on you. Yeah. I don't want to come home at the end of the night and sound like I have like 3,000 frogs in my throat.
Yeah.
So get a whistle.
Nice. It's an easy fix.
Easy fix. Get a whistle. Then I don't have to talk. All right, cool. Then after that, the whistle upgraded to. Have you seen my hand cannon?
I don't think so. No,
All
I
right,
just know the whistle.
So I have a hand cannon now, and that was made by a friend of mine. Pretty much he took a drill from Ace Hardware and took the motor out and kept all the electrical. So you could bring like one of the truck horns or a car horn and hardwire it onto it. So literally once you pull the trigger, you're setting off the horn. So that's what I use now. Instead of like, I use the whistle still, but it's like now I have the whistle in my hand cannon, and it's great. I've been able to do a wave of scaring people, starting on one side of a group and get like 30, 40 people at once just with this hand cannon.
It's just a loud horn?
It's a loud horn.
Wow. I got to check it out. This upcoming year, I got to go.
Oh, yeah.
Check it
was
out.
like, I feel so bad because I had some stuff I wanted to bring, but we had some issues with the baby. So it was like we had the baby issues and then moving the cars around. It was like, all right, I got to get going. And I totally spaced on it.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine. Now, I want to know, and especially for anyone who may want to get into scaring, will you share your gear setup?
Yeah.
Your what kind of knee pads should they get? What kind, so that they don't go out and get garden gloves.
You're not gonna go out and get garden gloves, or you're gonna get ripped off by someone else's gloves and all that. Yeah. Yeah. What do you want to know?
So let's start with gloves. I mean, I have an idea just of like from the people I've seen, but gloves, I forget what they're called, but the gloves I got, because I made my own, like because I just wanted them, were the ones you slip on and then they have a little strap at the end. I forgot what they're called.
Mechanics gloves?
I mean, I'm sure they are, but they have, and then you add the conduits on the fingers.
So the gloves that I use, because being outside with the public and for how long I've been being a slider and dealing with everybody, I know how to read the crowd. I know who's going to be a rough guy or who's going to be an easy.
I mean, who can really be rough to a 6'8"?
You'll be surprised.
Really?
You'll be surprised.
Really?
It's like the young kid in the yard. Like you're the young scrawny kid in the yard and you got to find the biggest, baddest motherfucker to pick on.
Okay.
And I get that all the time. And
Wow.
I get like guys that are just want to be cocky and show off in front of their people. And it was like, I'll scare you. And I'll make you scream like a little bitch.
Yeah.
But no, the gloves I use tactical gloves, like military tack gloves.
Okay.
And I have a carbon fiber knuckle guard.
Got it.
So like, if anything, it's
can
like,
knock someone out.
I'm gonna knock the shit out of you. But those go down and they have a strap, but also because of how much movement you do, that little strap normally doesn't stay on. So the ones that I get, you have one strap and literally a full wrist wrap. So the glove is secured on. Then I get my electrical flex 90-degree connectors on my fingers, and I stopped doing washers on my gloves.
Okay.
So a lot of people do washers or toe taps and all that. I stopped using that because I don't like to put my hand all the way down on the ground.
You just want to do the tips.
Not even just the tips, but if I have to put my hand down, I know my glove's not going to get fucked up because the more like the less things, like some people will do like a washer stack up here, here, and a big washer right here. But what happens if you hit a couple cracks on the ground and you get caught? That washer's gone. That washer's gone. That washer's gone.
Yeah.
So you got to always fix it up. So what I did was get cutting board. Your standard cutting board that you get like at IKEA, Home Depot, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll cut out like a little puck piece from my glove and sew Velcro onto it.
Okay.
And then on the cutting board piece, I'll glue the other side of the Velcro so I could take off the Velcro.
Mm-hmm.
So I have full movement of my hands.
Mm-hmm.
If I need to do something or open a door, pop off the Velcro, open the doorknob, and I'm good to go.
Okay.
So that's what I use. And the cutting boards, they're about like 3/8 thick. Mm-hmm. So it's a good sized piece of cutting board. So I'm resting my hand on the ground like this instead of being flat.
Yeah.
So, and like if you need to hit like a shipping container or anything, you do a hand slap with it. It saves your hand so much.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many people get slider gloves like, oh yeah, good, click, 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 and boom, hit a shipping container, and then you take off your glove and you got like bruises where all the washers are.
Yeah, for sure. I did for my glove. So I did like the fingertips the same, and then I put a big square piece of metal on there. It was like thick too, but I'm not streets at all. I just did it to do it. Like my thing when I worked 1 year. I wanted to work multiple years, but work didn't allow me. I was at Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh, right on.
So I was at HHN for in Alien versus Predator, that maze.
That maze.
It was dope, right?
Oh, that was my favorite maze.
So real quick, I'll give you a little behind the scenes of that. Our biggest problems was the Queen. The Queen kept wanting to act up.
Oh, ahead,
I mean, there's so many moving parts.
Dude, it was a giant puppy.
And there was like so many. There was one operating the head, one operating the other arm, one operating, like there was multiple people on that thing. And then also the guy who was helping our predators get in and out of costume and stuff, he was super tall dude. He was actually one of the actual predators in the movie.
Oh, dope.
So his costumes were like, I mean, they were like super real, right?
Yeah.
Well, with these costumes, they were inside the material, they were wetsuits. So what does that mean?
Neoprene. Oh,
that
God.
means all heat is being, right?
No.
So the first night, opening night, AC went off in the thing. I got
the
up to
costumes had air conditioning in them?
No. It went up to like about 116 degrees in there. Our predators were dropping.
No. Oh.
Can you imagine?
And that's neoprene and latex and padding.
So it's designed to keep you warm.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then I think they were originally supposed to be on like an hour on, 30 off, but they're like, no, we're gonna do 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off, 30 minutes on for them, because it's like, yeah. For me, I got one of the worst spots you could possibly get. I got a blackout. Right? So check it. So I got a blackout, and it was a face hugger. So if you remember the maze, when you first walk in through the ship, there's that face hugger that slams against that like plexiglass.
Don't tell me that was you.
So that was me.
No.
Right? No, so check it. One of the worst spots to be, right? So I got that, and then I was just like, I was talking to the maze coordinator. I'm like, you got to get me out of this spot. I'm like, this is just not it. So he's like, all right, I'll put you in another area. So then he put me in a different area, and then I got moved to the area right around the cop car where you're in between the trees.
Okay.
So where the bodies are hanging. So I got there. I got tons of scares there. Awesome. And then they put me so I had two, because I was 30 minutes there and then 30 minutes in another. It was after you pass the Queen and you're about to walk out, and there's one more scare right there. They wanted me to be a victim. They wanted me to, the face hugger to be like attacking me push the stomper that's going to activate the lights and everything, and be like moving and everywhere. No, I didn't do that. So what I did was I turned that little space I had into my own little scare zone. And that face hugger was my mask.
Oh my God.
So basically I was scaring. I was going at people. I had my boots, everything. I would push the trigger, cool, but then I would go to the other side. And as soon as I saw someone else coming, I would kick the wood and just like basically slide right over to them, but like not slide, but just go really fast to them and just snarl in their face. So I was literally killing that zone as my own little scare zone because I made nothing out of something.
Oh, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was so sad that they got rid of that maze. And
They did it 2 years though.
it was the best maze there. I remember going to the Halloween Horror Nights and running all the way down to the lower lot just to get in that maze real quick because I know if I didn't hit that the first thing when it opened, I'm not going to hit it for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I had a friend that was management at Dark Harbor that went over to Horror Nights. And tell me if this is true, if they were doing it then, because for some odd reason, he gave us code words for the mazes.
Okay.
So, you know, like how Horror Nights, you get your Fast Pass or your VIP Pass? Well, he said instead of having all those, each maze has its own saying. And if you say the saying,
That's true.
You got it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that doesn't happen anymore. They got super strict. Like HHN, well, from what I've heard, because I only worked that 1 year. If I had the option, my buddies that like I helped get in and everything worked for like 5 years. I'm like, and he got all the way up to the guy with the double heart surgeries was doing chainsaw.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, because it was his like 5th year, and I'm like, bro, that's all I ever wanted to do was, but it's like I had work.
Yeah.
I had work, and they weren't gonna let me take the time off. But so yes, you used to be able to use code words and stuff like that, or even if you worked there, you can get in front of the maze, obviously, and then you can bring people you knew to the front of the maze. They took that away. They got super strict. And yeah, now they're very, very strict on like different things you can do. And like, it's tough, but,
and in back in the day, Universal used to be called the show. And that's where like, when I started scaring, everyone wanted to be at Universal.
Yeah. You could slide everything. They took that away.
Yeah. I remember that. And nowadays it's like I only like going to Universal Horror Nights just to see the sets.
The sets are amazing.
That's the only reason why I'll go.
Yep. So you said you had a story about Ken.
Yeah.
So I plan, by the way, real quick before you tell that story. So I plan to have Ken on hopefully this month. Do you know Greg as well? From
Cade?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people.
Dude, you know I had Greg on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude.
I scoped the Instagram page.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, Ken. So what story do you have?
So, back it was still Dark Harbor, and I remember going to Horror Nights, and I was there with some friends, and we got done seeing everything, like all the mazes, all the shows, and I just wanted to watch people get scared. It's like I didn't get scared. I want to see people get wrecked.
Yeah.
And you know where people get wrecked the most is when you're walking into Halloween Horror Nights and it's the strip and there's nothing but all the shops over there.
Scare Zone 1.
Oh God. I remember I sat down with my friend and we just watched people, and Ken was a chainsaw at that time.
Yeah.
And he came in, he saw my cut. And I don't know if you've seen it, but I was walking around Horror Nights.
Oh, you got your patches and
everything.
everything.
I got all my stuff on here, but he saw that, and that's when he was like, wait a minute, you're one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're hanging out. He goes backstage on his break, takes off his half of his costume and his mask, comes out, and we start talking.
What was his mask at the time?
I think it was like one of the Purge guys.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he dropped his costume on
started chatting it up.
Chatting it up on his break. And he was like, so yeah. And from meeting Ken, I met like a lot of different people.
You knew Aaron, right?
Yes.
Oh, well, because Aaron worked. So that's how Aaron's the one that introduced me to everything.
Really?
Aaron's the one. I met him, I think, at Disney. Yep.
Right.
DJ. I met him at Disney and stuff like that. And I've always wanted to scare. And then we just started talking. He's like, yeah, auditions are going to be coming up. He's like, here, like schedule an audition. I was like, dude, like this is awesome. So yeah, he helped me get in. He's the one who introduced me to like basically the people I know, and that's how I met Ken and all that stuff.
So
And Will,
God, which one's Will?
Galarza.
If I see
If you see a face, you would
I'll
know.
recognize him. But I remember running into him at Horror Nights. We're talking, we're shooting the shit, and then he had to go back to Scare, and we left. Well, not that long afterwards, Dark Harbor started doing guest appearance nights. So like, if there were certain monsters at Universal that had the night off and wanted to do a guest scare, they came over to Dark Harbor. Well, Ken came over and met Ken again, and Ken told a lot of the Universal guys about me, and they already knew who I was. So I get a call from David's assistant. They were like, "Hey, the Universal guys are coming in. They know you. And they want it, like it would be awesome if you went in and do like a welcoming to them." So I walked in. That's when like I met Ken again. Officially met Aaron. Met Brandon, Raccoon. I remember meeting him, and God, I miss that man.
Yeah.
I miss him so much.
He's a tall guy too.
He was, and I loved his car, and he was so humble.
Yeah.
He was so humble, and I was like, you know what? That's a guy I like. I still follow him to this day. It's like cool dude. But I remember meeting all of them, and they came out. They all had fun, and we started doing the guest appearance things at Dark Harbor. And surprisingly enough, that from the guest appearances, I was able to get a loophole, and this is when I was still part of the QM slider team, the show team. Was able to find a loophole and get Sliders Unite to happen.
That was the next question I was going to ask you about. So I was going to ask you that, and then about the sliding. But so tell me about that. How'd that come together, and how was that night?
Insane.
I can imagine.
It was history. That's the only thing I could say about it. It was history being made that night. And I just remember just talking to Chase and finding out that we do these guest nights, and if they're off and if it's okay, they could come out. So I pitched the thing to David, and one thing led to another. We got the slider team involved, and we started making calls, and out of nowhere, it was like Universal, not Six Flags, all.
That's crazy.
No, Six Flags was the second year. It was just Universal, not Universal, Decade, and Knott's.
I wish I was there for that. I think I knew about it. I wasn't able to make it out, but I wish I was there.
So, do you remember? You probably don't remember Slider. Oh, you do remember Slider Alley.
Yeah. Wait, is that your show, right?
No, that's where Slider Alley is, where we did the slider show.
Okay, yeah.
So that area, that was the slider scare zone, but you notice like we're all over throughout the park.
Yeah.
I could just remember seeing people running down from opening at 7:00. They're going to wait an hour and some change for this slider show, so they got prime seating, because on one side you had the planner, so you had somewhere to sit, and on the other side was all standing room only. And I remember like within 30 minutes of opening, planner's full. People are reserving seats and holding their spots, and
happening one night. Yeah,
dude, it came down to game time, and it's like right before we're about to start, all our lights are on and our music's going, and I just stand out there, and I go in the middle of the runway, and I stand and I look, and it's just like, all these people are here for us. I can't believe we did something like this. And finding out that Universal higher ups were there, management from Knott's Berry Farm was there, like it was one hell of a night. And it's still shocking that we sold out a Wednesday during a haunt season.
That's crazy.
That is crazy to sell it out a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Then the second time that we did Sliders Unite Hell at the Harbor, and we expanded our invitation to Six Flags. And big shout out to all my Six Flags homies out there. Hope you're all watching. But yeah, coming out doing, and that show was even more insane. Like choreographing, like I remember we did a couple nights of full show rehearsal with everyone there, and it's just trying to get everyone to do it. And the first sequence was the train wreck. And it's just like that shit was so many moving parts, and just had to add more moving parts to that just before we even did an intro.
Yeah.
And doing the intros and the whole show, it was well worth it.
Yeah.
It was so amazing, and I'm surprised I didn't break a rib.
No, yeah, is there video of that anywhere?
Yeah.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
I will check it out today for sure.
Yeah, you could go, you could look them up. I think you could
Like Sliders Unite or something.
you can find Sliders Unite on there, and Hell at the Harbor too.
Okay. So following that, you let me know that you're not doing the sliding team anymore as far as the sliding show.
Yes.
What was that your choice or?
There was between the old captain of the team, for the longest time I was the face for the slider team.
Yeah.
Like for any marketing, and we had sliders, you had Squeaks. He was one of the main people, and honestly, I think it was just jealousy at the end of it. Because I would have people come up to me and be like, "Oh, I thought you were the captain. I thought you were in charge of all this."
Figure you would be the captain,
right? And it was like, no, I wasn't. I'm just a regular guy that's planning all this stuff, and just over jealousy. I honestly, hands down, I believe it was jealousy, and because of one person's rage, got the entire team to vote me out. So, I still rock the Queen Mary slider banner because that's what I am.
You did it for years,
right? It's like I can't not wear my cut at Dark Harbor.
Yeah.
And now it's like, if they have any questions, I'm there for them. I even told them, it's like, if you guys want any help, I'm here.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm just gonna do my own thing. And it's funny because myself, Fido, and Nemo, the three old guys on the slider team, we all hang out, and normally in our break area, we always find one corner that's away from everybody else, and we nickname it the retirement center. You walk out, like last year, it was between two tents, and it was like a table out there. I was like, this is perfect. This is my break area. And we hang up rope lighting, and we have our own music. And so as soon as we walk back out there, it's just the three old guys who are just complaining about like how much their body hurts. And it was like, all right, let's go back out.
Yeah. So yeah, from sliding that much now, I'm assuming it takes a toll on your body.
Oh yeah,
huh?
it does.
Yeah.
But it's one hell of a workout.
Yeah.
It is one hell of a workout. And if you want to drop weight quick,
oh, for sure,
pick up sliding.
Yeah.
Back in the day when I used to do it like all the time and just like honing my skills, I would train during the summer, and like during the hottest parts of the summer, go outside, train, go slide for a few hours, get wrecked in the heat, and come back dying and be like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
It actually helps because there's been so many times at Haunt that if anyone was worked on or knows about it, it gets hot. It gets real hot.
Fast.
And you'll be like, one night it starts cold. All right, cool. It's gonna be a good night. An hour into it is hot, humid, and muggy. And it's like, I don't want no one touching me. I want my makeup off. I want this costume off. And if you don't train for that, you're not going to be able to perform. And at that time for the sliders, we always had to be on our A game, no matter what. It was like, back in the day, one of our requirements was, if you're making a costume, it has to be camera ready, 24/7.
Yeah.
None of this like, oh, I need to go back and spritz myself up. It was like, no, you're getting pulled off the street right now to go on live TV. Your costume needs to be on point.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot of help with our costuming department that does a wonderful job on a lot of our costumes, and we still have a lot of the freedoms to design or make our own. They'll give us a concept idea of, this is what we have your general idea look to go off of, and build something off of this.
Yeah.
So we'll get our photos, we'll get our costume pieces, we get what we want, and we send it all into costuming. And that's when they doll it up, make it all spooky and scary, and that's when we get it back.
Wow.
But before all that, it was only you.
Yeah.
If you wanted a cool bitchin' costume, you're spending the money to get a cool bitchin' costume.
For sure. Now, so transitioning a little bit from that, because I really want to talk about this too. Normally, I do an hour podcast, but I really want to cover this subject.
Did we already go over an hour?
It's just about to be an hour.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
No way.
Fast.
Wow.
Yeah, super fast. So, but regardless, I'm still going to go on because we have to touch on this.
No worries. Let's do it.
Switching from scaring and sliding. Let's talk the boat. Let's talk Queen Mary. You've been there for years. Not only have you worked the Han event, you've done Chill, you've done like all these different events that happen on the boat. First question I'm gonna ask you: is the boat haunted?
Yes.
I didn't even finish asking you. So
yes, it is.
It is.
Yes.
Well, that's a perfect segue into tell us some stories, tell us some rooms. I've heard, this is from outsiders, I've heard that some of the rooms for sure like are locked and like no one goes in because of how like haunted it is. Or
B340.
I think so.
That's an actual room.
Yeah. And no one goes in there.
So the theory,
Let's
get into
lean
it.
into it.
Let's
Turn
get
the
into
volume in. Let's go.
So B340 is they say it's one of the most haunted rooms on the ship.
Okay.
And it actually comes to Samuel the Savage, part of his backstory behind it. So what I know from it, it could be 100% true, or it could be like wishy-washy, but it's still on the same line of what may have happened. So what may have happened in B340 was it was a father and a daughter staying in this room, and the daughter goes around the ship. And this is when the ship is still an active cruise liner, and they're still cruising around and doing all the cool things that cruise ships do. So she ends up missing. He gets drunk, trying to find her, finds her, and out of an anger rage, he kills his daughter.
On the ship.
On the ship, in the room, in the room B340. And he kills her. He hangs, I think he hangs himself in the bathroom, and I don't remember, like, he beat his daughter senseless.
Wow.
That there was a pool of blood in the room. So for a while, they stopped doing, like, having people stay in that room, and they made it into an office, and people refused to work in that room because stuff was happening.
Yeah.
And guests will get, like, phone calls like, there's the people right next to us are being really too loud. Can you send someone to shut them up? And there's no one staying in that room.
Wow.
So B340 is one of the haunted rooms. You could stay in B340 now to do overnights, but honestly, I don't think the B340 room that they rent out is the real B340 room.
I wouldn't think so.
I
think they would just name it B340 to be like, whoa, it's a scary room, but
it's like if you go to B deck and you go down the numbers, that's room B340 is supposed to have a placard there, and it's no longer there. But honestly, hands down, for what may have happened, I don't honestly think that's the room. I think the actual B340 room is a storage room somewhere. Another time was back in the day, I used to sneak on to the Queen Mary and go ghost hunting in places that you're not supposed to go.
Yeah.
I knew that the ship was commissioned in World War II, known as the Grey Ghost. Hitler put a big bounty on her for, what was it, $3 million to sink her, and she was the fastest ship in the American fleet.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the history that I don't even know. So
That's why they called her the Grey Ghost. And the camo paint that they gave her made her gray, and she was fast, so no U-boat could sink her. I knew that she carried POWs, and I know where they kept the POWs. So I went down there one night.
What are POWs, by the way?
POWs are called prisoners of war.
Okay.
So you're getting Nazi soldiers, Nazi prisoners of war that are being brought back over here. I've made it down to the very bottom of the ship that is 75 feet underwater.
I wouldn't like, dare.
I've seen it. It's like I've seen the bend, the curvature of the ship.
Wow.
And you get so many spooky feelings down there of just being crowded, of people being sick. there's that. There was one time of me being on the production crew, and this is when we're building out Soulmate. And Soulmate, there was a ghost experience that happened to me there. Was the night before we left our tools and our toolkit in the back storeroom of Soulmate. And if you guys didn't remember the maze, it's the ballroom area, so where all the mannequins were. The following morning, I get there. It's about like 7:30 in the morning. The room's pitch black, and you ever had that feeling of someone's next to you or breathing on your back?
I've never had that feeling, but I've had just a chill.
Just a chill. If anyone knows, like you enter a room and you just have the feeling like you're not alone, but you are alone.
You feel a presence.
You feel a presence. Oh, this was a very heavy negative presence that did not want me there.
Yeah.
I left. I straight up left.
What happened?
Like I walked in there and I just felt like this cold that went down my spine, and it's just like, nope, I'm not being here. It's just, the feeling is like, no, you're not supposed to be here. Yeah, it was that feeling hardcore. I was like, all right, I'm out. I told my boss, I'm taking a 10. I went outside, had 2 cigarettes. It was like I got a monster, chilled out. It was like went back to work.
And what part of the boat was this at?
And this was at the back end of the boat.
The back end.
Yeah.
So have you personally seen any weird stuff happen?
I've been hit by one.
You've been hit by what?
I've been hit by a ghost.
Elaborate.
So the first class swimming pool
real quick before you finish that story, there is a big pool you'll see in there. A lot of people talk about that being haunted. Is that the pool you're talking about?
Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
It's called the first class swimming pool.
Okay.
That's where in the first class swimming pool, you have the swimming pool, and on the back side of it, on the 1 story down, is the changing rooms, and that's where you get the vortex, the doorway between their side and ours. I've seen people pass out, straight up walk in there, pass out.
Be on that same level as the pool?
Yeah. And then I was in there, and I was there with a couple friends, and they wanted to see something, and me being me, I'm just calling out the ghost. I'm like, you're not real, you're not real, you're not this, whatever, show yourself, show yourself. I had this sheer pain in my chest, and I walk out, I lift up my shirt, and it's a fist imprint.
No way.
Yeah. It looked like the fist imprint. It looked like if a kid just like cracked me right in the chest. I took that off. I was like, nope, bye. I'm gone. Like I left my friends in there when that happened because I felt that. And I was just like, what is going on? I looked at it, lifted up my shirt. I'm like, nope, deuces. I didn't even tell everyone, like, hey, I'm gone. I just left them.
Wow. He just checked you real quick.
I was like, no, dude, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other areas? I don't know. Any ghost story, anything you have about it? I want to know.
Let's just say the gangway in the B340, like you got to walk over the bridge. You know, when you have to walk in B340, that bridge you have to walk out to go out.
Isn't there a bridge you walk over? Like there's a bridge you walk over where you're overlooking the pool. Where's that?
So that you're not overlooking the pool. You're walking across a bridge that's overlooking the old boiler room.
Okay. I think that's, yeah.
So the boiler room is haunted. I'll talk about that real second. But I want to finish this.
Yeah.
So I was ghost hunting. I'm at the bottom level of the boiler room, and it's 2:00 in the morning. Knowing that no one's there, I'm hearing someone walk across this bridge in heels, like that sound that click, 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 click. And it was like, what the fuck? And I went back. You could shine your light up on the bridge, and you could see if there's any up there. No one. And you just hear them walking back and forth. And I was there with probably like 10 people that heard the same thing. So another story about the boiler room. Before everything, I knew Disney tried to buy the ship at one point in time. And they wanted to do like a Haunted Mansion hotel type cruise. So they were playing off of Jackie, the little girl that died in the swimming pool. So they had an actress that was in the boiler room during the tours. She will be like the little girl dancing around. Well, there was an engineer on the ship that grew fond of her. He tried to have his way with her, and he killed her in her green room. So
Wait, is this real?
This is real. Yeah, no joke. No joke.
Like this isn't like an old story. This
This is probably like, yeah, this is before like all the haunts and everything over there.
but still okay.
But it was like, this is when like the ship was still like, it's docked, but it was still trying to be like, find new management, new owners to take over it. So you could say it was probably like during the 50s. And he killed her in her green room. But if you look over the bridge again and you look down, off into the top left, you see a doorway. That doorway leads into her green room. And there's a secret way to get to her green room from one of the mazes. So it's like, all right, you guys want to go in there? I know how to get there. So I take him in there and we go down there and it's pitch black. It is dark. It is quiet. And there's a hole, like a little 12 by 12 hole, like someone cut out in the ceiling. And you know when your eyes are playing tricks on you and you can see that if there's something in the shadows, but you see an outline. Oh yeah, there was an outline of someone just leaning down and just looking over through the window, and there's no one there.
Wow, that's insane. So there, it was haunted previously, and then the guy basically killed that girl there as well. So is there, in a sense, 2 ghosts now there?
Oh, there are multiple ghosts there. There are so many people
in that boiler room
on throughout the whole ship. Like if you go through the isolation ward, it tells you all the deaths that happened on the ship, and there's a list of mysterious deaths that happened on the ship. The lady in white that walks around that scares people.
Heard about that too.
You know who she's supposed to be? Graceful Gail. That's how that Graceful Gail's based off of, is the lady in white that walks the ship.
Yeah. What's her story?
Her story is, this is for everything that I've been able to put together myself. It could not be true, or if it is, it's pretty fucked up and twisted. Is Graceful Gail used to be a transatlantic prostitute, like the hookers that stay on the cruise liners that sleep with the rich men and all that. That's what she was. Supposedly, whoever she was having an affair with ended up getting pregnant. And that's why Graceful Gail's dress at the bottom is red. So she may have had a botched an abortion, and no one knows what happened to her body. So she may have died on the ship, and they may have tossed her overboard. So that's why she may haunt the halls of the Queen Mary. Crazy, right?
That is yeah. Have you ever stayed on the ship, like slept there?
Yes.
And have you had anything then?
Yes.
Elaborate. Explain.
I was doing a media press thing for the news for Dark Harbor, and I was there with Nemo, and we were sharing the room, and we just got done scaring, and we get all our makeup off. We're in our pajamas. He's in his bed. I'm in my bed. And our room was set up that we had the living quarters, and then there was a side adjacent room that was attached to us, like for an extra bed. But you had to go to that room to get to the restroom.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Within like a few minutes of turning off the lights, it was like, hey, bro, you awake? Yeah. Are you feeling like someone's watching you right now? Yeah. Let's close this door. I didn't sleep the entire night. Did not sleep.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to sleep on that ship.
I can imagine. just with the things you telling me, like being in a room that like is just filled with that. Like, did you ever hear? I figure you would, but did you ever hear any yowls or any screams or stuff like that? And like, obviously there was really no one else in there. Yeah. Where are those coming from?
Like I said, the most common one, you could find those closest to what's left of C deck. So
what's that?
There's A deck, B deck, C deck, D deck, E to F. And C deck is what was used to help gut the ship. So when the ship was getting gutted, if everything was being torn out, that's where they kept all the machinery parts on. And literally there's probably like maybe 2.5 rooms that's officially C deck. The rest of it's been gutted out. And over there, that's where you'll hear like clanks, and you'll hear people talking, but you know there's no one else around you, and you're working in parts of the ship that you know there's no guests and there's no engineers to get there. Like one of the mazes at Dark Harbor, you have to go towards the front end of the ship, there's a room that's literally right next to C deck, but if you don't have the certain key to open that room is all blocked off. And being in that room, oh yeah, everything's all rusted out and there's like half a floor is missing. Or when I was spelunking through the ship, I'll be going up through a ladder, open up a hatch to a room that's completely blacked out, and there's nothing in there but the ladder case going straight up into another floor.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
That I don't know. I think I would take a tour. I for sure would probably take a tour. I don't know if I would sleep there.
If you want to take the fun tours, you gotta know someone that knows all the
Go off track.
Because the guided tours, yeah, they're gonna show you what they want you to show you. But if you want to go see some really spooky stuff, that's where you have to know, like, all right, you got to go down this way to go through this door, go up these flights of stairs, and you're in this area.
Yeah.
Like watertight door 13. I know where that is, and you could go to that one on the basic tour, and that's where supposedly Johnny or Half Hatch Henry is based off of an engineer. So watertight door 13 is special just because they used to play a game called Chicken, and they'll set the watertight doors, and each door, it'll take 30 seconds from one door to close all the way down the line. And they would run the doors. So they'll see if they could beat each section. Well, he tripped on water door 13, and door 13 closed on him.
Oh.
So that's why Half Hatch Henry has that huge scar across his chest. Supposed to be taking place of that engineer that died.
That is insane. Like now it makes me want to watch like documentaries on this ship, like to find even more stuff in it, more in depth. Is there anything I'm missing as far as to the ship, or something that maybe most of the public doesn't know?
That she's an old soul.
So I think I've covered just about everything else, huh?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Cool, man. Well, that's going to wrap up this podcast then. Thank you so much for coming.
Inviting me to come out and chit chat. It was fun.
Of course, yeah. You shared so much stuff. I like so much. I really, really wanted to get that boat in, just because I'm like, man, like we have to. Like it's the Queen Mary.
Oh, it is.
But so that's going to do it for this podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe down below. Give this video a big old thumbs up. To all my listeners on audio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, I love you so much. Continue to listen. And I will see you on the next episode. Take care. Bye.